Have you ever set a goal, maybe a New Year's resolution, and you're just so full of excitement, only to watch it completely fade away by February? Yeah, if that sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. It's such a common story, right? That initial spark just fizzles out, and we're left right back where we started.
Dear book lovers, what if you could finish an entire book in just minutes? Welcome to another insight-packed book summary from SummaryPedia. We are here to bring you more titles in less time.
In this episode, we are going to explore the important and highly practical lessons from the book Goal Crusher by David Brock. And let me tell you, this is a must-read for anyone who's ever felt stuck, or maybe for those of us who are fantastic at dreaming up big goals, but find it just a little tough to actually follow through.
All right, so let's get into it. The book kicks off by tackling a really big question. Why do so many of our goals just fail? Turns out there are some super common traps that pretty much all of us fall into at some point.
I mean, really think about it. We always start with the best intentions, don't we? We want to get fit, launch that side hustle, learn a new language. But then, somewhere along the line, that motivation just seems to vanish. The book makes a great point here. This isn't some kind of personal failing. Nope. It's usually a problem with how we set up the goals to begin with.
So David Brock lays out a few of these classic mistakes. First up, we set super generic goals. Things like, I want to be healthier. What does that even mean? It's impossible to track. Then there are the unrealistic goals, like deciding you're going to be a millionaire in a month. That's just a recipe for discouragement. Another big one is negative framing. We focus on what not to do, like stop eating junk food, instead of framing it positively, like eat one healthy meal every day. But honestly, the biggest one of all, we completely ignore our why, that deep personal reason that actually gets you out of bed in the morning. Without that why, any goal is just another chore on your to-do list. Okay, so we've identified the problems. Now for the good part. What's the solution? Well, thankfully, the book doesn't just leave us hanging. It gives us a really powerful, proven framework to turn those vague wishes into a solid, concrete plan.
And the answer is all about setting SMART goals. Now, this isn't just about being, smart. It's actually an acronym, a kind of checklist for building goals you can actually achieve. It's literally the difference between just dreaming and actually doing.
So let's break this down. First, S is for specific. Instead of a fuzzy goal like get in shape, you get specific. I will run a 5K race. Boom. M is for measurable. How do you know you're getting there? Well, you can track your running times, your distance. You need numbers. A is for attainable. Look, if you've never run a day in your life, aiming for a full marathon next month, probably not going to happen. But a 5K in 3 months, totally doable. Then R is for relevant. Does this goal actually matter to you? Does it fit into the bigger picture of your life? And finally, T is for time-bound. You've got to set a deadline. I will run this 5K on June 1st. That deadline creates a healthy sense of urgency that gets you moving.
Okay, setting a SMART goal is an absolutely fantastic start. But let's be real, a great plan is pretty useless if you don't take action, right? So the next big question is, how do we actually stay motivated and see this thing through to the finish line?
The book brings up this amazing quote from Arthur Ashe, and it really points to a massive mindset shift. It's so easy to get fixated on the destination, the final outcome, but Goal Crusher argues that the real secret, the magic really, is learning to fall in love with the process. Yeah, even the daily grind.
So how do you actually do that? How do you embrace the journey? Well, the book has some great techniques. First, visualize the process, not just the victory parade at the end. Picture yourself actually putting on your running shoes when it's cold outside. Next, build accountability. Tell a friend about your goal. Seriously, you're way less likely to quit when someone else knows. Then, you've got to track your progress. Seeing how far you've come is amazing motivation. And this one is so important. Celebrate the small wins. That first time you run a full kilometer without stopping, that is a huge deal. That's the fuel that's going to keep your engine running.
Okay, now we're getting to a part of the book that I think is just so important. It is way too easy to get hyper-focused on one single goal and just let every other part of your life fall by the wayside. But real, lasting success, that's all about balance. Goal Crusher makes this powerful point that we need to be setting goals in all the key areas of our lives, not just our careers. We're talking about our health, our family and friends, even just time alone to recharge. Because if you ignore those things, burnout isn't just a possibility, it's pretty much guaranteed. Think of it this way. A balanced life isn't a distraction from your ambition. It's the solid foundation that you build it on.
So who's the person behind all these great ideas? Let's take a quick look at the author, David Brock, because it's always good to know where this perspective is coming from.
So David Brock is a real expert in the world of online businesses, things like book publishing and affiliate marketing. His whole career has been about helping people achieve financial success online. And that's why his perspective is so valuable. It's not just abstract theory. It comes from years and years of hands-on practical experience that he's boiled down into simple frameworks that anyone can apply to pretty much any goal.
All right, we have covered a ton of ground here. So let's pull it all together and do a quick recap of the key takeaways you can start using like right now. So here's your goal crusher action plan. First, diagnose your failures. Take a hard look at what went wrong in the past so you can avoid those traps. Second, get SMART. Transform those fuzzy dreams into specific, actionable goals. Third, embrace the journey. It's all about the process, accountability, and celebrating those small wins. And finally, balance your life. Remember, true success is holistic. It's not just about your career. Which really leaves us with one final thought. Maybe the real question isn't just what you want to achieve, but who you want to become along the way.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more impactful book summaries from SummaryPedia.